Okay, so somehow I ended up watching a film designed to debunk the ancient aliens theory that was presented on the History Channel. Now I've seen the meme, with the spaced out guy, um, but I've really actually never seen this film, so I'm not completely sure what it is that I'm watching be debunked. But I can say with a great deal of certainty that the moment that we start talking about anti-gravity to move blocks is the moment where we don't have to debunk anymore. Um, that's not worth debunking. Um, it's absolutely amazing that you get that published on a major television network. Um, that said, as I pointed out before, a lot of what you see in these films is um, not worth taking seriously. It's light entertainment. Um, it's no doubt meant as light entertainment. Problem is that people that are watching it are too clueless. Um, I mean, this guy went through a big, I used to believe in the ancient astronaut theory. I tried to convince my friends and my family, you know, anti-gravity, force fields, aliens, like to move blocks in the South American desert. I mean, get real. This is, but then again, we're talking about a culture where people believe the Bible. So I mean, it's one of those moments where you should thank yourself for having gone to school. And if you've made it past the 2.5 minute mark into this video, you probably did. I think we lost all the people that would take something like this seriously. That's what I'm gonna do a react to this. Um, I just want to point out that this is a straw man, or at least it's a straw man from the perspective of any quote-unquote ancient astronaut theory that I've ever seen presented to me. The idea of aliens using anti-gravity maneuvers to move blocks of stone is not something that I've ever heard connected to the idea of there being contact in the distant past. Generally, and we'll see, this appears to be a fairly long video. We'll see if it gets there or not. But generally, these arguments revolve more around, comparative mythology. Um, these stories of things coming down from the heavens and things leaving into the heavens. Um, I don't think I've ever. I mean, whether it's a monument in Peru or it's Stonehenge or the pyramids, I don't think I've ever seen any explicit argument presented um, that aliens are in any way required to build any of this. Um, so when I say it's a straw man, I have to question, like, where is this coming from, and why precisely is it being presented in such a blatantly ridiculous way? Um, it is very easy to fall back to your basic, maximization of profit. There's an opportunity to make a dollar by, throwing around a lot of bullshit. Somebody's going to take it up. But there's other more sinister suggestions. If you have an idea and you don't want people to take it seriously, then you make it look as ridiculous as you can. Um, and this would be one way to make it look ridiculous. I guess maybe the debunking video was just necessary for those few fools who took the propaganda at face value. I'm going to wait until I get through the video to see what it says about a story like the story of Elijah. See what they have to say about that. Some of the stories in the Renaissance, and I know I've seen everything that explains otherwise, but it's a combination of things, rather than a single thing. Although I will like I'm skeptical about the Renaissance connections as well, because it's too recent, and it's hard to believe that there's no record of it. It's easier to believe that the records, 2,500 years or 3,000 years ago are blurry. That's not hard to believe, especially in areas that had a lot of destruction or lost a lot of records. But to suggest that, 500 or 600 years ago, when we're like smack dab in the historical period, that's harder to swallow. And that in itself questions the credibility of the other periods and the other things. But I mean, it's not like this is an idea that's in a theory. This is not something that can be proven, at least not in our stage of evidence that we have in front of us. And it's hard to see how this could be proven, short of somebody flying down and saying hi, kind of thing. And again, I need to point out that I'm not sure if I did this on the vlog or not, but one of the major arguments against space travel is that it's too far. But if you had aliens that were 20,000 years old, that would be less of a problem than we might suspect, right? And in fact, if they are that old, they might have some of the characteristics that we've attached to deities, perhaps even those deities that we have placed in the sky. The flip side of that is that it could just as much be a longing to escape, right? So I don't claim that it's at a stage past a crude hypothesis, but I think that writing the idea off is ultimately as perilous as accepting it on the basis of levitating pillars. It's one of those things that you really can't rule out, and that if contemplated with a healthy dose of realism, could really provide for an interesting understanding of certain memes and ideas that exist across cultures and through long periods in the past. So what do I think about ancient aliens? Well, again, the idea as it's presented here is completely absurd. But the broad concept, it has support not in archaeology or in architecture, but in comparative mythology. And I'm going to see what this video has to say about that before I close this react.